everyone. Welcome to the Hopkinton Lions Club High School Speech Contest. This is a yearly event that we hold, and actually it's not just us, but all Lions clubs throughout Massachusetts are invited to participate with their local high schools. Each contest produces a winner. Those winners kind of percolate up a couple of contest levels and wind up with in the state tournament sometime, I believe, in March or April of this year. This year's topic is what can past America teach future America? I'm anxious to hear all the speeches on this. Now, I appreciate everybody here tonight. The judges, thank you for braving this weather. This is the first time I've had to try to play weatherman and decide it was worth coming out or not. I appreciate all your help. Students, you'll find that this will be a very rewarding night. I think all three of you have participated in this contest before, so looking forward to hearing from you again. Unfortunately, I thought we'd have a couple more. We had a couple students who couldn't make it at the last minute, and unfortunately one of the judges said the weather was a little bit too rough for her outside. But anyway, for everybody who's here, thank you. So with that, I think we're ready for student number one. Deep breath, come on up. The microphone, the podium's yours. Okay, you're good?
Simple. Plain, simple. Cluttered, clustered. Claustrophobic. A country where everyone feels replaceable. One man, two men. Dead man, new man. Consumerism has us by the neck, wringing out every last cent from our pockets like we owe it ransom. I walk into BJ's for weekly groceries, and there goes my $100. Poof. Gone. Another sacrifice to the gods of capitalism. Everything feels like a money pit now. Colleges, we can't reach. Houses, we can't afford. Jobs, we can't trust. And the American dream, shattered. Swept into the trash with a stack of manufacturer coupons that we always think we'll use one day. But America wasn't always like this, exhausting. There was a time when life felt stable, economically, financially, and emotionally. When the stock market didn't throw daily tantrums like a toddler. When inflation wasn't the boogeyman living under your bed for rent-free. Federal programs made college attainable and not a fever dream. Zoning laws didn't strangle construction. Worker productivity rose, and brace yourselves, worker wages rose too. At the same time, in the same direction, like they were actually related. Manufacturing and union jobs paid well, even without fancy diplomas. Lifetime employment guaranteed, pensions existed, and stability secured. An average family lived comfortably on a single $30,000 income in the 1950s. Now we have two incomes per household ranging from $86,000 to $120,000 per year, and we are still clawing our way through single basic expenses. Families could save without medical bills attacking them like surprise bosses in video games. Programs like the GI Bill and the FHA-backed home loans didn't just help, they built the middle class. And essentials, groceries, clothes, hygiene products, they didn't require a budgeting spreadsheet and 3 prayers. Imagine a world where you could walk into your local store and pay 12 cents for a loaf of bread, where your quarters and pennies, they actually meant something. Now, they're just used basically like arcade tokens, helping us scrape together one more $4.99 or $5.49. So, what changed? Starting in the late 1970s, the harmony broke. Productivity skyrocketed, but wages flatlined. The economy grew, but the workers didn't. An average home once costed twice the average amount of income. Now, it is 6 times as much. Manufacturing drifted to cheaper labor markets. Housing prices ballooned. And childcare became so expensive that it might as well have become a mortgage application. Restrictive zoning, booming population, and investors buying neighborhoods like they're playing Monopoly pushed affordability off a cliff. while there still lives 37 million Americans below the poverty line. The middle class started treating necessities like luxuries because the price tag clearly did. Childcare now averages over $26,000 a year. Designer clothes, technology, and food morphed from occasional treats to "you need this to function in society" purchases. And here I am, just 16, already stressed out about my FAFSA forms and student loans before I even have a full college list. As I look into colleges, I feel like I'm making a choice between spending $400,000 to $500,000 for 4 years of education, where I have adults telling me that they spent $40,000 in total for a four-year undergrad. And I realize we are not living in the same economical universe anymore. Inflation and capitalism are not trends. They are the water we swim in. Past America stayed affordable because policies were built on keeping people afloat. Wages rose with productivity, heavy government investment in housing and education, and a cost of living that didn't crush families before they even had a chance to begin with. Now we live in debt. We swim in capitalism and we breathe regret. We keep wondering if we're doing enough or if we're barely surviving as society keeps moving to the finish line. If future America learns one thing from the past, it is that affordability isn't magic. It is a choice. It is a policy. So bring back the programs that made life livable, like the GI Bill, which helped colleges, and the FHA home loans, which allowed individuals to have homes, and restore the foundation that kept families standing, and reduce inflation by fixing the root causes, not the symptoms. Let us live life simple again. Thank you.
Okay, so at this point, we'll move on to student number 2.
Hello, everyone. History does not whisper to America. It calls our name in its extensive and vast pages. And when you listen closely to the echo of marches for equality on sun-scorched asphalt, the murmur of immigrant kitchens building a new life of opportunity, or the static of radios announcing wars and moon landings, you hear a single message. Past America is not a story we left behind. It is a book of lessons waiting for us to pick it up, waiting for us to understand it and apply those lessons to our own lives. For we have the power of learning from the successes and failures of our ancestors. When looking through these lessons of past America, I found they fell into 5 distinct truths: courage, unity, innovation, responsibility, and optimism. These 5 words shaped yesterday and decide the future of tomorrow. The first lesson I learned was that of the courage of my ancestors. America is not a country built by people who played it safe. It was built by Harriet Tubman, who traveled by starlight with its mission to rescue 70 enslaved people on 13 missions as a part of the Underground Railroad. By the suffragists, who fought tirelessly. Everyone wrote them off, but they didn't write back. By the soldiers of Valley Forge, whose frozen footprints formed the trail to independence, whose battlefield risks allowed the freedom enjoyed by the United States today. This idea of courage is a parallel that I see in my own family as well, who immigrated to this country without a roadmap, without guarantees of success, but they braved through their unknowns so that I could know opportunity and witness courage as headlines, not as habit. Past America teaches us that progress begins when someone stands up before the world is ready for them. When you take the risk going against the norms and ideas of those around you, prosperity is a byproduct of that risk-taking. I find that this lesson of courage is all too relevant in my own life. In my own life, this applies to at a smaller scale the courage to just be myself. Be it my fandom for the Buffalo Bills, my genuine interest in coding, or my fascination with entomology, the study of bugs, the study of something that most people don't seem to enjoy. These are not the norms, but I choose to be myself. Even when I do not hold the popular opinion, when it is hard to just be me, as I try not to fit into the box society makes for me. The second lesson I learned was that of unity. America has been cracked apart. We survived a civil war that tore families, towns, and ideals in half. We rebuilt during the Reconstruction, reimagined during the Progressive Era, and wrestled through the turbulence of the 1960s. Unity in America never meant sameness. It has meant seeing our common future as a bigger target than our individual fears. Past America teaches us that division is easy, but unity is earned by achieving a shared purpose. Unity shapes my life as I call upon the lessons of past America and the opportunities I have to be a leader in the classroom. In class, although I may not have the same heritage, life, or fears as those who I work with, I still make sure to give it my best, since we all share a common goal to do well. When I lift others, they lift me. When I create unity between friends, classmates, and even strangers, I'm living the lesson that built America. We rise higher when we rise together. For when you see the things you love in the center of the storm, we must have the willpower to run into the eye. The third lesson I learned was that America has the power to build the impossible through innovation. A continent needed to be connected by a railroad, done through the government's land grants, Irish laborers' as tireless work beginning the project, and Chinese laborers' as courage to work through dangerous situations. Although they came from different places, Irish and Chinese laborers worked together in unity to accomplish the same goal. Innovation is not luck. It is our national habit to persevere and accomplish the impossible. Historically, our greatest breakthroughs were born from chaos. The Great Depression birthed new protections like the Social Security Act for retirement and unemployment. And the Glass-Steagall Act separated regular banks from risky investment banks, protecting everyday Americans from the kind of financial disasters shown in the Great Depression. The Cold War rivalry created satellites and the internet, and past America teaches us that human progress is simply problem solving at a larger scale than just yourself, especially during crisis. This lesson applied to me as well. Whether it's building my own software, exploring new invention ideas, or tutoring students in coding, I'm constantly reminded that invention is empowerment. To fail and try again as I experiment is my connection to the spirit that pushed America from farms to factories to fiber optic internet. Inventing gives me purpose and permission to dream bigger. This year I've taken on a project called Stay Awake, helping people with narcolepsy to better regulate and understand their diagnoses. This invention took my own innovation and required me to exemplify the ideals of past America, learning from every failed attempt to make the best possible solution. The next lesson I learned was that of responsibility. Freedom doesn't survive on autopilot. It requires guardians to protect it from crumbling. I.W. Wells faced down mobs with her pen as a journalist who led the civil rights movement. Thurgood Marshall transformed justice through law as a Supreme Court justice. Everyone is responsible for upkeeping democracy. Ordinary citizens like everyone here who are civically engaged, teachers, volunteers, activists, all people who did extraordinary things to keep our democracy alive. Past America teaches us that freedom fails when responsibility and civic engagement fades, but freedom flourishes when responsibility rises. For me, responsibility is the value that grounds my own work and my own life. It means taking accountability for my life and my decisions. I understand that my choices don't just reflect who I am, they shape who I will become. I take responsibility seriously because I've learned that trust, respect, and progress come from consistent action. For me, this came within a not so regular way, within my vintage Lego online reselling business. I currently run a business where I resell vintage Lego sets online. And when I first began this business, it's pretty niche, so I had trouble making sales. And I blamed it on a slow market or people not being interested. But as I kept working, I realized that I was the only one to blame. I had suboptimal marketing, and that was my responsibility. So I took that responsibility. I rebranded my store, I worked harder, and I did not make excuses. Altogether, these changes allowed my store that was once failing to suddenly prosper. My final lesson was one in optimism. Despite the storms of our past, America's history glows in the starlight of optimism. It was that optimism that allowed enslaved peoples to imagine freedom, civil rights marchers to imagine equality, and this is the optimism that sent a rocket roaring into the sky. Whenever I doubt the future, I remember something simple and humbling. We've survived everything we once believed would destroy us. And this optimism carries through me during late-night study sessions, school-related setbacks, and throughout any uncertainties I have. My optimism comes from gratitude. Gratitude that I hold for being able to live in this great country. Gratitude for my family's sacrifices, and gratitude for the opportunities that I have, and the opportunity to grow into someone who's worthy of those sacrifices made for me to stand here, speaking freely in front of all of you. When I look forward, I don't see guarantees, though I do see possibilities, and that is enough. So what can past America teach future America? Courage is to begin. Unity is to endure. Innovation is to advance. Responsibility is to protect. And optimism is to prevail. The past is not perfect, but its lessons are powerful. And those lessons shape not just our nation's future, but mine as well. I stand at the threshold between yesterday and tomorrow, and I will carry these lessons in how I work, how I lead, how I serve, and how I dream. If we all carry them, then future America will not just simply succeed, future America will astonish. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Judges are ready, so we'll finish the night with student number 3.
Good evening, everyone. When we ask, what can past America teach future America, what we are really asking is how can we learn from the mistakes in the past to build a better society going forward? Now let me ask you this. Have you ever made a mistake that taught you something important? If so, then you understand how nations learn too. America was founded on powerful ideals: freedom, equality, and opportunity. Our Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights promised basic rights for every citizen. Yet, even with these principles, citizens under the early government suffered with injustices such as slavery, racism, and sexism. Does it surprise you that a nation built on freedom failed to give freedom to everyone at first? It's okay for a society to fall short as long as it continues to strive for improvement. And in America's story, hope has always been the driving force behind every step forward. Before the United States existed, the New England colonies were under the rule of Great Britain. The colonists were treated unfairly, being taxed without representation and being restricted from free trade. Over time, their frustration grew. Can you imagine being told what to do by a government that doesn't listen to what you have to say? This anger sparked a revolution against Great Britain, which the colonists fought for and won their independence. Every generation after that faced its own unique challenges, which compelled focus on improvement. The abolitionists fought to end slavery. The suffragists fought to secure women's right to vote. The civil rights leaders battled racism, inequality, and injustice. Take Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., for example. His famous "I Have a Dream" speech inspired millions of people to imagine a future without segregation. Have you heard a speech that transformed the way you see the world? Now, none of these movements were easy, but cooperation and determination made them successful. These moments showed us how people have always advocated for change to improve the nation. As time went on, people from all around the world immigrated to America. Their arrival made America richer in tradition, culture, and ideas. Future America must not forget this diversity. It must embrace it. When more voices are heard, America becomes more creative, resilient, and compassionate. What traditions from your family or background make you unique? Those differences matter. Hope has always powered America's progress. Without hope, no one would dare stand up to injustice. Without hope, no one would believe the society can change. But because the people who were treated unfairly stood up, this nation adopted the idea of equality. That sense of possibility is what draws immigrants even today and helps shape the society we live in right now. So, what can past America teach future America? It teaches us that freedom requires cooperation. It teaches us that progress requires courage. And most importantly, it teaches us that hope is never optional. It is essential. So I would like to conclude by saying that America is still a work in progress. Perfection may never exist, but progress always can. Every mistake that we make today can be a lesson for tomorrow, and every lesson brings us one step closer to the future we hope to build.
Judges, thank you for all the time and effort you've put into this. Students, now's your chance to take another deep breath. I'd like to have each of you come back up here again, and now you can be personal about this. Tell everybody who you are and what you're hoping to do in school and why you like bugs and all this other kind of stuff. So anyway, the microphone's yours. We'll go student number one, if you, okay? Again, this is the informal part of it, so.
Hi, I'm Sahasra. I've done the Hopkinton Lions Club speech last year too, and I had so much fun with it, so I decided to come back. I am really active in dance. I love to play violin. I do HOSA for my high school, and I just really like volunteering. I spend a lot of time in hospitals and other organizations because I love working with people. And yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name's Evan. I'm a sophomore at Hopkinton High. As I said during my speech, I do like bugs. And besides that, I do invention convention. That was my invention that I talked about during my speech. I also I do have a Lego reselling business that I continue to run because I really like Legos. Always have. And I also run a tutoring business where I tutor kids in robotics and coding. And I do speech and debate. I guess those are the big things about me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shrihas, and I'm in 10th grade. And my hobbies include coding and playing sports. And yeah, clubs I do include Code Club. And my dream job is to become an AI engineer.
Okay, I don't know if my cameraman is on or not, but we'll jump into this anyway. So we've looked over the scores, we've tallied them up. The second place goes to student number 3, that's Srihas. Congratulations. And first place goes to speaker number 1, Sahasra. Congratulations. So, and Evan, nice job. This was a close one. This really was close. So very, very good job, everybody. So what happens at this point is, Sahasra, there is the way the Lions clubs are organized is kind of there's 4 or 5 clubs that cluster into a zone, and so there's going to be another follow-on competition sometime in January. I'll make sure that I let you know, and basically it's run exactly the same way. I think, like I said before, there's some conditions about not using manuscripts, but needing to memorize. And so, but I'll make sure I go over that with you. If you can't make whatever date that is set for, then Srihas, you get to step in as as our alternate. So stay prepared, okay? And I think, and then we talked about there's a couple of dollar prizes that we've got. Bill will write out some checks at the end of the night. What I'd like to do first, though, is get a nice picture with judges and students and all that up here, and then, then I think we're good for the night. So everybody, thank you very much. These are always good. I learn something every time. I'm impressed by the high school every time I stand up here and run one of these things. So thank you all very much, and I hope you had as much fun tonight as I did. Thank you.